Right, Al, just the three runners on Saturday, starting in the first race with a son of Gimme the Green Light out of a Group 1 winning mare. What are you expecting from him?
Yeah, Andrew, he's a 4-year-old unraced, which tells you something went wrong. But he's always been a lovely horse. I mean, as a youngster, he wasn't a cheap yearling, and he just didn't do much because he had this injury very early. And touch wood, it's been good. He had to have a little bit of surgery, and so far the injury hasn't come back on him. Just been a while to get him ready. He's a thick-set horse, still a colt. Which, I mean, we kept him as a colt because he's not nasty or anything, and he was a bit of a bit too kind in his nature. So if I galled him, he might just lose his spirit. So tomorrow's a big sort of test for him in his future. I think he'll run a nice race. I'm not. So 1200 is probably a bit short for him, but he's a quality horse, and I think he should go in the money. He should be in the placings.
3 consecutive seconds, justifiably favourite.
Yeah, she's run top races in second place. I mean, she keeps finding one that beat her. I mean, it would have been nice to have pulled one off, and she's back in an ordinary race. Those were feature races. At least she proved she's a decent gutsy filly. Look, she's come back from an 18 to a 14, but I think she's fairly versatile, and she's in a good place. Malasela claims 1.5, which should help. I mean, he's ridden her before. He rode a second in another race. It would just be very nice to have a winner for. I've only got the one runner so far for Suzette Viljoen and Barcy, and second. I'm looking forward to having a winner. Maybe this is the time.
Well, couldn't be a better day to have it. And looking around at the wall here with these beautiful pictures of Crimson Waves and Proud Pilgrim, London News. There's a horse that's not here that won the Derby, a horse called Sacred Jungle, Mr. Beck's colours, and of course Royal Bench are dead heated with Pomodora. So Billy Bowlegs, he looks to be the right horse, and it looks like he's had a sparkling prep.
Everything's gone well, touch wood. His prep's been good. If he's good enough, he's going to pull it off. I think he should stay. He's quite relaxed. You know, it's a very different animal. It goes from 1800 or even from a 2000 to a 24. It is a different animal. But they're all 3-year-olds, and he's got every right to stay on his pedigree and the way he races.
Just the 3 runners, Climate Control in the International Racing Syndicate's colours. Really good run behind Zuzan last time out. He looks like he's a really fit horse.
Yeah, we'd like to have had a lot more runners on the day, but you know, we've been struggling with the health of horses for the last few months. So anyway, we're going to have to probably just focus on the Durban season. So it's a bit disappointing that we poorly represented it, as we do have a couple of really nice horses that should have been running, but sadly they're just not healthy enough. So he's doing pretty well. Good last run. I thought he should have won it. He's going to be, the question mark for me is the trip at Turffontein. It might be just slightly stretching him, but he's in a really good form, small field. That's why I thought I'd run him.
Okay, Golden Ducat, always been a very exciting horse, hugely talented, obviously not without his problems. He's not here for a change of climate.
Yeah, Eric gave him a good break after Cape Town, and I don't think I've got him anywhere near a peak yet. Unfortunately, we probably have to run him here because there's nowhere else to run him to prep him. But he isn't as fit as I'd like him. He's happy, but he's not as fit as he should be. So I think it's going to be a tough race for him to be competitive in.
So fair to say that the end of the month would be his main mission, or the end of April?
Yes, provided he comes out of this well. You know, otherwise we take a pull and we have a look at Durban and Ray Durban from here with him.
And then Little Mary Sunshine, looking at her pedigree, the way she ran last time out in the Oaks trial was very promising. She hasn't shown that she's going to get 1.5 miles, but she may well do so.
She may do. I was a little doubtful. Ran her in the Oaks and she stayed on well after leading most of the way with top weight. So based on that, I've decided to go for it. I'm still a little sceptical. I mean, her last win is over 1400. But she is, however, by Silvano. So, and she seems to be sort of pretty well in herself. But again, at the ratings, we've got a hell of a lot to do. Right now, you know, a top 4 finishing would be a really good run for her.
Thunderstruck, you made it absolutely clear that last run was a prep run and that you were looking to stretch him out as his pedigree suggested he's capable of. What are you expecting in the horse Chestnut?
Yes, it's an interesting race, Andrew. I mean, the top-rated horses don't seem to be at their very best. Makes it interesting with Golden Ducat coming up. I thought Joey's horse looks the horse to beat. Yeah, but Thunderstruck has certainly come on with that last run. I am fairly confident he'll get the mile, but I mean, we're only really going to find out on Saturday. His preparation's gone well. His draw's good. Yeah, so I'm happy. I'm hoping for a good showing.
And obviously his stable companion acquitted herself fantastically well last time out, and it looks like the mile is definitely within her grasp.
Yes, but I think if you look at her and Red Saxon should definitely improve over the mile, where I would say her best distance is probably a 1400, and she does get the mile. She won the Fillies Guineas, but that was Gravel. So she's in a very good space, and I do expect another very bold showing. She's got to have a chance.
A horse that's got a very, very soft spot in my heart, not only for his courage, but because of the way in which he's adapted from the shams to the stable in which he's in now with Johan Janssen van Vuren. He's a proper soldier.
He is, Bingo. He's a lovely horse. He's doing nicely at home. Obviously, it's nice to be drawn pole position. He needed his last run, and he's come on a bit from that.
So was this his main mission? Because clearly he's having his second run after a break, but he's a horse that I remember didn't take a hell of a lot of work.
Yeah, look, he never really had a break. He was still in training, so he was obviously a bit ring rusty, but I wouldn't bring the second run into it.
So you think you can turn the tables on under your spell?
I don't think. I hope I can.
Okay, and then on to the big one. Obviously, looking at the horse's pedigree, there was absolutely no earthly reason to go for the Derby, and therefore the horse Chestnut, which is probably his ultimate trip, he takes on his elders at weight for age terms, and he's really a very smart horse.
Andrew, yeah. I looked at the field this year, not saying that they're bad horses, but I think some of them they've done their bit. So it's a race that looks like he could sneak it. He's got a good draw, and he'll be running on very strongly. Obviously, that's how he runs. So I'm pretty confident. His work's been excellent during the week. I was surprised with all the hype about him not staying. I actually started to believe it myself because everybody kept telling me he won't stay. But we were very confident he would stay. And the message I did send out to Owen and them before the race is that I was very, very confident. There was no reason not to be. He was drawn well. He's beaten most of those horses. And, Raymond was adamant he'd stay. And once Raymond sort of said he's not worried about the distance, then we knew we were in with a huge run, a huge chance, and he ran accordingly.
On the eve of her attack on the horse Chestnut with a very, very talented horse called Tripper Fortune, and I know nothing went right for him for the King's Plate. He's obviously gone very, very well for you to decide to bring him all this way.
Yes, Andrew, things didn't. He had a virus before the King's Plate, and we just didn't have the time to get him back to his best in the short space of time that we had. So you can put a line through that run. And he came out on Derby Day, and he ran in the Diadem. He ran a very good race in the Diadem. It was a courageous run from him over the 12. He's doing very well at home at the moment. He's in great shape. Obviously we taking a risk travelling up to Joburg. He just arrived up here today, and he seems to have travelled pretty well. But it's a risk coming up here. Obviously we're going over a mile at altitude, fairly close to the race. So yeah, he's got a lot of factors that we need to overcome. But in saying that, I don't think it's a particularly or overly strong race this year round, and that's why we thought we might as well just take our chances. And he's going on to Durban after that anyway, so we'll stop on the way and see if we can't do something here and before we go on to Durban.
And then the one horse that you must be really, really excited about is Rennie. Very good run in the Classic, and the reality is that she's every reason to stay the mile and a half, and will probably need a nice, decent, solid pace.
Yeah, she's never been a horse that can really come off of them with a slow pace. She enjoys a good pace because then she can just get into her own rhythm, take it from there, and get into her gears as she needs to. But yeah, I thought the Classic didn't quite pan out for us how I wanted it to. There was 3 horses that I saw going to the front, and the one horse I really didn't want to get to the front got there. So we've got a good draw this time round. We've drawn pole position, which I think is going to help us massively into where we get within the field.
Jumping on the turn, yeah.
No, exactly. So I think it's going to play a big part and a big role of how the race is going to pan out, and I'm hoping that it's going to be a bit of a more true run race, because I can't have this filly in a better spot. Her fitness levels impeccable, and the work that she's just been showing me at home is phenomenal. So I'm very happy with her going into the run as well.
Yeah, I think she will. I'm not certain of it, but I would guess all the other fillies are in the same boat. I've had fillies win this race that didn't necessarily stay, but they happen to be the best on the day. She's had a very good preparation, so I can't ask for much more from her at this stage. She's in a good space. Her work's good. She's moving really well, and you know, she has settled down with time. She was quite a heady filly and an uptight filly, and I think she has settled, which will obviously help her in the race too. So I'm expecting a big run.
Well, Silver Hills certainly showed that she was worth taking a chance with last time out. She ran a decent race in the Classic, and I get the feeling that she is very likely to stay.
Yes, she is, Andrew. You know, I do believe she's a filly with quality, and Silvano's keep improving, and yeah, she's showing me that she's in good health and a good space at home. So again, we have to take a chance and hope for a big run.
She's just had the most spectacular preparation for this race, and her Oaks trial win was really impressive.
Yeah, she's also a filly that's only just furnishing now. She's quite a tall, leggy filly, but yeah, she's also proven that she loves this type of trip. You know, her dam is by Machiavellian, who's a proven sire of stayers. So there's definitely the bloodline there, and hoping that she also can get it right on Saturday.
They say that the horse that wins the Derby is the horse that stays the best of that 3-year-old crop. Now, we do know one thing. There's no doubt in my mind, or anybody's mind, that Good Counsel is a dour stay. He's got plenty of stamina. Not a lot of him, but boy, oh boy, is he all heart.
Yeah, he's a super competitive horse. He's really bounced back to his base, and I'm hoping that we've got him spot on for Saturday. Ryan rides him impeccably, so you know, it'll be a nice send off for Ryan. But yeah, he's in a really good space, and I'm expecting a top run.